It's difficult to remember a time when the spirits weren't with me. In fact, I often spend a lot of time thinking about what that would feel like. Don't get me wrong, I loved them. But like a house with too many animals inside, it could get tiresome. My earliest memory with them was being 6 years old, and I would leave my room spotless and come home from school and the toys would be everywhere. Some of them neatly stacked, some of them upside down, some of them standing on an end that seemed impossible. My mother would come in the room just as I got there and scold me. "I told you to clean up before you left for school. You didn't listen, so now you're going to be punished." It was the spirits, Mommy. They always play with my toys when I'm not around. She didn't believe me, and just like any good mother, she put me into timeout. But it wasn't my fault. I know I had cleaned my room. They weren't doing it to flex their power. They weren't doing it to show off. I know that now, but at the young age of 6, it's difficult to understand why they were regularly having me punished. This went on for many years of my life. Too many instances to recollect. When you're being punished several times a week, it's hard to keep track of the details. And none of this is to say that I was a bad kid. In fact, as kids go, I was about as timid as they come. I didn't have many friends at school, and the ones I did have had a mean sense of humor. Maybe I deserved that. Maybe I sought it out. Maybe after years of punishments for household crimes I didn't commit, the thought of having mean friends was normal, comforting. Well, needless to say, I never invited any of them home. Mama wouldn't allow such a bad boy to have friends over. At 16, there was a strength growing inside me. More like an awareness or an awakening. I quickly began to realize that I was stronger than Mama now. And I would spend my time out sitting in the dark of the basement, wrists and ankles tied to the timeout chair, discussing with the spirits how to avoid punishment in the future. We need to stop these punishments. We're such a good boy. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Mama's the bad one. That's not true. It is. It is. No, stop. You're the ones getting me in trouble. No, you're the ones who make the mess, who break the things and get us into trouble. Boys should be allowed to play. Normal boys play. We were never allowed to play. Always punishment. We don't like punishment anymore. If we were good, there would be no punishment. There's always a punishment. There's always a punishment. There always will be a punishment unless we do something. Unless we do something. We must do something. We must end the punishment. It's time to play. Yes, it's time to play. And that's how they found me. Tied up in the basement, arguing with myself in the dark, on the verge of starvation. Mama's blood running down the stairs. The police took me to the station, but the spirits wouldn't let me tell them any details. All I could do was cry and tell them that I wanted to play. All I wanted to do was play. After I calmed down, a psychologist or some kind of social worker, I honestly don't remember. But someone came in and very carefully explained to me that Mama wasn't really Mama. They told me that I'd been taken from my real parents 12 years ago and that they'd been looking for me ever since. So I'm with my new family now. My old family. The family I can't for the life of me remember. And the spirits are gone and my thoughts are my own. But I spend many sleepless nights thinking about how they saved me. How they kept me company in times of need, and I've come to realize that they must have always known that I didn't belong in that house. And they must have always known that the punishments would eventually lead to change. But what I can't seem to figure out is if I was tied up in the chair in the pitch black of the cold, quiet cellar, starving away for almost a week, unable to shake loose from my bindings, then who killed Mama? And if my fingerprints were the only prints on the knife that was dug deep into Mama's back, then who tied me back up into the chair?